Hi, so I'm a bit nervous, as you would be. Just about to share some really big stuff for myself, but I thought I would choose today because today is Are You OK Day, which is the 10th of September 2020. Now, we all know that 2020 has not been okay. Most of us at some point have struggled with either job loss or, having to school from home or losing a business, or some of us have benefited but at the expense of other friends and family through COVID and this crazy time. Anyway, I actually have a lot to say, so I'm going to do my very best to cut to the chase. Now, yesterday I have, it's been a rough few years. And I know I'm that person who can always put on a brave face. And when I'm there, I believe it. But by doing so, I have neglected how I really feel. So I actually have a message today about Are You OK Day, because it is important to ask everybody else how they are. But it's also really important to ask yourself, like, am I okay? And I think so many times, and all of this is just my personal feelings, my personal, development, and, my personal story and who I am. But I do want to share with you is that I got to the point where I didn't know who I was. I didn't know if I was okay, because I was always looking after everybody else's feelings. Now, in one sense, I did it because I love my friends and family, but in another sense, it just delayed my own healing and my own journey in who I am as a person, because it's so much easier to look after other people. It's so much easier to tell them what to do. It's so much easier to coach them and train them, and it's so much easier to give advice to a friend, even though really deep down you should be giving yourself advice. So I'm just going to challenge you guys, and if you watch all of this or just some of this, and I'm guessing, because sometimes when I share my heart, I do get a lot of comments. Instead of perhaps commenting on, Laura, you're so brave for sharing your story, or, Laura, I admire you, you're so strong, which I've often gotten the last few years, perhaps just leave a comment and say, deep down, asking yourself, am I okay? And the answer, yes, no, maybe, or sometimes not. So I'm going to challenge you to not comment on my post, or I don't know how I'm going to do this yet, but to more so comment about how you are, because I'm going to share with you how I am and how I've gotten to this point, and how excited and relieved I am to get to the point where I can tell you that I'm not okay, and that's okay. Like, I'll be okay. And I think because I'm not okay, I've got this amazing opportunity to really put life into perspective, and I couldn't have asked for a better year in 2020 to do so. So a little bit of backstory. I sound like I'm talking in riddles, because I usually do. I'm just going to pause because I need to have a drink. Okay, let's see how I go. All right, so a little bit of backstory. This year, it wasn't a secret, but it wasn't something I overly shared, because I'm a very big sharer. And again, there is a place for it because it connects people. And this year, being 2020, having a pandemic worldwide, we are all very socially disconnected. And coming from someone who's in the industry to bring people together, like I'm party like Laura. So, you know, I am in the industry that connects people, that connects stories. And I think sometimes, you know, we pick and choose which story we can share at a certain time, which is fair, because not everything's for everybody. And I have done that, but you know, I've been blessed. I do have tissues because I think I'll need them, but I've been absolutely blessed with a gap year. And interestingly enough, a gap year matched up with the pandemic. And I'm very, very grateful for the gap year that I've been, you know, blessed with, because it's come with a lot of support from my business partner. We have a franchise together in the direct sales industry, and she hasn't had the best year herself. Bless her. Her dad and her brother have both passed away in England, and being in Australia, she couldn't get to them, but she charged on. And the thing is that more importantly, you know, she's allowed me a whole year to just do Laura, and it's so important, and I'm so grateful for that, because the last couple of years I haven't been myself, which means that I have in some sense been a burden on the business, been a burden on my friendships, been a burden, you know, on my livelihood and how I make money, because I couldn't get out of bed, and I couldn't, I guess, be authentic. And I'm not one to not be authentic. And it was quite shameful, actually. And I felt quite guilty that I couldn't be authentic, because you don't turn up to somebody's house and they say, "How you been?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm great." Like, you know, so much has happened in the last few years that I had to pretend in some sense. Yeah, I'd give a little version, but you know, the whole story is that I couldn't even breathe. I couldn't breathe. I didn't know who I was. I still don't, actually, but that's what I'm excited about. Dogs barking, driving me crazy. Shush. Anyway, so I think I've been blessed with this year, and you know, I kind of just slid under the radar a little bit in doing so, because I am one for big announcements and stuff like that, and I just think it was really important for the people around me to know that, you know, this isn't a reflection on their business or a reflection on the industry or a reflection on our business together. This is a reflection of just stuff that's happened in my life and how I've not dealt with it. So anyway, I'm very grateful for the my gap year. I'm 7 months in or 8 months in. It's been very hard, because my go-to happy place is my job and my business and the people in it. So it has been really hard to strip that back and, you know, to slide away from social media, to not share. And especially at a time where we need to stay connected, I've very much disconnected. I've disconnected from myself. My head and my heart don't match, and I'm really excited to get them to match again. So in the meantime, I had 2 massive goals this year, and I've never really had goals. I've just always been in a business that I was really good at. Listen to me, I was just so good at it. But I was, you know, because my business lends itself to talking and making people feel good about themselves, which are 2 things that I love to do and feel good about doing. So I paused before to drink. Now I'm just gonna have a sip. Bring a unicorn cup with a straw. So I sound very cryptic. So what's happened is that at a time where I wanted to challenge myself, while everybody else, you know, would absolutely die and be jealous of my livelihood the last 16 years now, I want to challenge myself and feel like an adult, because ever since I was 21, I run my own business, and I could wake up when I wanted and do what I want when I want. And the challenge, especially when you've got ADHD, which most of you know I have, The challenge is that turning up somewhere on time and being accountable and not having excuses, because I was very good at excuses, and they were all real and genuine and big in my head, but doesn't mean that you know, it's disrespectful sometimes of other people's time. So I'm learning all that. So I didn't have a great time at high school, although being the class clown, you'd think I did. I was the big girl. I was teased for being big, mainly in primary school. I was immature for my age, and that comes down to undiagnosed ADD, especially in girls. And then in high school, I was in all the top classes, but I couldn't read. And I'd sit next to all the kids that I could get to help, and they're still my best friends today. But interestingly enough, like I like I like labels in a sense, in some way, because it just means I get to Google it and research it more. Like, you can't rely just on going to counseling or therapy or reading a book. I don't read books. Like, to me, if I get a diagnosis, I can get a hashtag, and next minute in my Instagram there's all these pictures. Like, I work better with pictures and descriptions on ADHD, dyslexia, executive functioning disorder, dyspraxia. Like, these are things that I have, and you know, MTHFR gene. You know, these are things that I have that, you know, I've probably educated myself more so late at night on Instagram or Googling or Facebook groups than I will ever do reading a book. So I'm very grateful for those. And it doesn't label me as a person as such, but it just helps me understand myself more. And it's given me a brain break, and it's made me feel like there's nothing wrong with me. Because for a long time I thought everything was wrong with me. So let me just press pause, because I've got a few notes and I just want to gather my thoughts for a second. It was about 30 seconds. I just wanted to read my notes actually, because I'm getting off track. My meds have run out. Okay. So a few things I want to share. The first thing is, like I said to you, it is Are You Okay Day. Yet I'm going to challenge you all to ask yourself, am I okay? Asking yourself how you are. Because the people who ask everybody else if they're okay, and it is important to do so, please know that, are often never asking themselves how they are. I am someone who looks very different to how I feel about myself. So, you know, it's interesting how you believe everything that you read, and especially, you know, social media. I'm a very supposed external person, or, you know, people will think I was so confident in myself. Well, I'm confident in myself for who I need to be for other people, but I'm not confident in myself for who I need to be for myself. And that is so different. So, you know, I share a lot, and I'm very public about that. Not so much recently, but I have been. And there are so many like I am statements, like, you know, or you are, like you're so brave, you're so strong, or, you know, I'm so sad, or I'm so scared, or I'm so lonely, or I'm so happy, I'm so passionate, you know, or how others see me, or how I see myself, like I'm so fat, or, you know, I'm so broken, or I'm so crazy, or anything like that. And what happens is that I kind of wear them like I wear those labels as the wrong labels. Instead of saying I feel sad, or I feel angry, or I feel lonely, you know, that can separate me. But I've taken them on all as labels, and sometimes I actually feel like, you know, I feel like I'm in a jumping castle with a whole bunch of post-it notes with words on them. And I jump around, and whatever sticks to me is what I believe. And I haven't really had a core belief system in myself ever. And I recognize that. But what I hear from people and what I tell myself, I take as gospel. So I haven't really looked at myself or thought about myself or even trusted myself as someone who knows who I am. Like, I just have other people tell me who I am. I don't know who I am. I never have, actually. Who I am to you and who I am to you and you would be completely different people, because I am a person of service and I make sure that you are okay. So, I've heard things like, like I've said, I'm fat, I'm inspired, like good and bad. Like, I'm strong, I'm lonely, I'm a punish, I'm lazy, I'm unfocused, I'm dumb, I'm gullible, I'm loved, I'm loud, I'm crazy, I'm loud and crazy. These are all things I've heard and I've taken them on. And I'm like, okay, that's who I am. And I haven't disconnected them. So that's something that I wanted to share with everybody. Maybe have a think for yourself. Like, do you talk to yourself like that? Another thing is that my story, like, I've taken on my story as who I am, as opposed to chapters in my life or pages in my book or things that have happened to me, not things that I am. I've talked about the melanoma, cancer that's on my nose. I'm not cancer. I've had cancer. I have cancer. I still have cancer. I have it and I'm not it. I've been scammed thousands of dollars because I believed somebody telling me that I wasn't a good person and I could pay and it could go away. That's a big story for another day, but that's very sad that I believed somebody else instead of believing because everyone else said I was so fun, you're so blah blah blah, and another story. Like I've had a separation from my husband, and for a long time I was like, my husband left me. He didn't leave me. He went to find himself, and that's probably braver than anything I've ever experienced, or something I could be the most proud of, is that he went to find himself and now I'm allowed to find myself, or I can. I've had miscarriages, I've had blood clots in my leg where I could have died. My grandmother passing away, the grief that I felt, like that was massive. Like one of my best friends passed away the week before her 30th. Like, all these things are events in my life, but I've taken them on as happening to me. I quit one business where I had so many friends. These people came to my wedding and they turned their back on me because I guess in some sense they thought that I would take their business, and it was the last thing I could ever imagine doing to anybody. And, that scarred me because I'm not that person, and the impression that people had, it's just, so these things have all happened, but I've taken them on as who I am. And because of that, it has impacted my everyday life, my everyday conversations, to the point where, you're lucky that I reply back to a phone call. You're lucky that, I'm grateful for 2020 because it means that I haven't, I guess in some sense, I'm the party plan queen. I haven't come into your home and put on a brave face and left and then fallen apart crying in the car. Like, that's not who I am. Like, I get pumped. I love going to your house. I love making people feel good. But, the last little bit, I haven't felt like that. And that's just not who I am. So I'm grateful in one sense, but I'm such a social person that I've lost, I need to hug. I need to be around people. And I guess it's kind of forced me in a situation where I've really had to deep down look at myself. So 2020 has been the start of it. Started looking at myself. I'm just going to pause to wait. Ta-da! Oh, where was I? Okay, so I am grateful for 2020. Two things, like I was saying before. The first thing is I wanted to be accountable for turning up somewhere on time, to learn. Like, I have had completely disregarded the fact that I'm teachable in a regular setting. So my challenge this year was to, for 3 days a week, which was actually full time because she had to study as well, 3 days a week, turn up to TAFE and do a training and assessing course for 6 months. So you can imagine, considering I've been training for 16 years and assessing, which I call judgment with the checklist, for 16 years, that I was going to nail it. I was so confident. So I walk in day one, and all of a sudden I start to realize how my learning difficulties or differences, probably a better word, more positive word, have like I can't put words together. I've found ways my whole life, and especially the last 20 years in an industry which I love and I'm passionate about, to disguise, because I haven't had to turn up on time. I haven't had to sit and read for hours. I haven't had to listen. I haven't had to be distracted or care about someone clicking a pen or any of those things that really get to me and really take away my focus. And I challenged myself to go and study at TAFE. And within 3 days, we got put back into lockdown, and I ended up having to, study at home full time in lockdown, a training course, which is so interactive and face to face. So there's been many, many challenges that I cannot even start to unravel right now. Everyone else finished last week. I got a 2-week extension. And something I would have been embarrassed before, I'm not. I need that extra 2 weeks. I'm a perfectionist. I don't like just to write down an answer. I want to learn. And to do so, unless it clicks, I don't move on. I have to make it stick in my head. This is something that's been I'm a good salesperson. I've just fudged my way through life. I've felt like a fraud, and I wanted to genuinely get a certificate. I want a piece of paper that says I've done something. So that was my challenge this year for 6 months. Then the next thing I am doing, which I've planned right from the beginning of the year, and I've just waited, which has been great because, it's something that I've had to think long and hard about, and it's something that, if it's questioned, I have an answer, which sometimes is not to answer, or, I'm just confident in myself that this is the right place and the right thing for me to do. So I'm actually going to 3 weeks in a private hospital, which is designed, it's like fast forward therapy. So for 3 weeks, I will be in therapy with no outside contact. I can't take my phone. I can't take my laptop. There's no TV. So it's pretty much lockdown in lockdown. We're in lockdown anyway. But what this is going to force me to do is not distract myself with how everyone else is going, not distract myself with what I need to do on my long to-do list, and there's so many things at the moment that I could be doing. I've got stuff to pack up because, my dad's renting out a space, which all my crap's in. And if I don't get it packed up in time, I have to go, that's okay. Someone else is going to have to do it, because what's priority at the moment is discovering who I am with no outside influence, like learning where my favorite restaurant is. My favorite restaurant is wherever it makes you happy. I may look bossy, but ideally I'm just happy to go with what's going on, and do what doesn't make waves, pretty much. So I'm going in the day before my birthday, and that's my gift to myself, is to find Laura Zammit, find myself, decide what I want to eat, decide where I want to be. Like, this is it couldn't be more perfect in 2020 to go into therapy. This therapy is for grief, for addiction, it's for trauma, it's for gosh, just life. You know, it's not hardcore, but it's hardcore because I'll be pulling back every year of my life, all the reasons why I do things and all the reasons why I don't, and just being able to sit there and just accept them instead of try to change them, fix them, control them. You know, this isn't because I had a bad upbringing. I didn't. You know, this isn't because my husband left. You know, he didn't leave. Like I said before, he went to find himself. So this isn't because I don't have kids. You know, I get the sympathy look sometimes. Well, that's just how my past turned out. It's not over. But there's lots of things that I am really excited about, and I'm not embarrassed. And I think, you know, I've openly shared it with a lot of people. And, you know, I understand, and I've just had to be ready for the comments like, you're not crazy. No, I'm not crazy. That's why I'm going in, because I'm not crazy. You know, no one's crazy. I just want to understand myself. Are you sure that's the right place for you? Yeah, I've looked into it. I've done my research. And if it's not, it's 3 weeks of my life. You know, we're in lockdown. No one's socializing. Can't go anywhere. So I just think this is a really great chance to pull back the layers and to stop asking everyone else if they're okay, and just to check in with myself so that I can be okay. And then that way I can be my authentic self. I can step up and not feel guilty about, you know, like my purpose and who I am and what I want to do, and, you know, like make excuses. Oh, I'm really sorry. You know, I haven't finished that yet, or I haven't done that yet. You know, not because I don't want to, but because I've lost my passion for life, for everything. So to find myself, we'll find that back, and what direction. And, you know, I miss my business. I miss my people. I miss all of that. But it was really important to step back and to see how much I missed it, instead of, you know, I guess being on a treadmill for 16 years of partying and being everybody else's happy, safe person. So I'm going to be bigger and better because I'm going to be more authentic. Well, I am authentic, that's the point. When I felt like I wasn't being authentic, it broke me. So I can't wait. I really can't wait. For 3 weeks. 3 weeks. So much can happen in 21 days. I'll miss you though. But I've missed myself for way too long. It's like I'm going to have to look in the mirror and it's going to smash, and then I have to put it back together. It'll be different. A bit cracked. But we put back together. I can't run away. I can't go dance. I can't have a few drinks with my girlfriends, or too many drinks with my girlfriends, or I can't, you know, like be on the phone or social media or, you know, any of that. I just have to look at myself. It's epic. My 38th birthday. And I'll come out and I still won't know all of me. I don't think anyone ever will. For yourself. No one knows. You, like, it's just a day. It's just a chapter. But am I okay? I will be. Because I'm Laura Zammit.